Generation X. In general terms, those born between 1965 and 1980. Latchkey kids, independent, existentialism, modern philosophy focusing on personal experience, human ability, and responsibility in an otherwise meaningless universe. We're the cause. This is the effect. We're the Gen Existentialists. Welcome into the Gen Existentialist podcast. My name is Scott.
And I'm Bunny.
And we are here to give you the Gen X perspective on happiness. Today our topic is this, Bunny. How to tell when you're actually happy. And what we want to look at is, what does happiness actually feel like when it isn't a loud, dramatic, or photogenic thing? And how do we actually recognize happiness before it's gone, before it flutters away into the distance? So for you, I guess the initial question is, what is happiness to you?
Happiness is a fleeting moment that I try to capture as often as possible.
But what is that fleeting moment?
That's a fleeting moment of dopamine.
So it's all chemical.
It is a lot. I mean, that's if you want to break it down to the really basic, boring, less mystical.
So we're going with the dopamine or the pleasure bursts versus the serotonin of steady contentment.
Yeah, that's contentment or satori.
Okay.
And that's something that I think everybody really strives for. That's what you want. I think happiness, people think they want happiness all the time. You remember your parents are always just like, I just want you to be happy.
I just want you to smile.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want to do in life. I just want you to be happy doing it.
If I had a nickel for every time somebody in high school or college looked at me and said, man, why don't you just smile more?
Oh, it's a microaggression nowadays.
Well, it kind of felt like it, because the thing about it, even if I wasn't smiling, and God knows I have battled depression, but just because I'm not smiling doesn't mean I'm not grooving on the inside.
Were you full of serotonin, even though you weren't smiling?
I was probably doped up on dopamine somehow. I have no idea. Because this is something I've kind of wrangled with myself. What is happiness? How can I tell if I'm actually happy?
Yeah. I think it's very scary when you look online. We're going to go back to social media because that's where all the younger people live.
All you kids in the
many
youthful
of us,
generations.
Yeah, and many of us and some of our boomers.
And I did just roll my eyes at you just so you know, if you were wondering.
You could hear it if you close your eyes and listen real hard. No, I think there's this kind of freaky, weird, exaggerated play acting, cosplay of happiness online.
Oh, yeah.
There's big, crazy smiles and people acting nuts and jumping up and down and, oh, right, yeah. Being really over dramatic and stupid about it. It looks like a primate's fear reaction is what it looks like a lot of times.
Fling poo.
Well, it's that showing your teeth and jumping around, and it's goofy. When you really look at it from an outsider's perspective, a Jane Goodall perspective. But R.I.P. No, I think that sort of that makes people feel like they're never quite as happy as what they see online because it's over exaggerated. I mean, you saw it back when we were growing up. There would be commercials would do this a lot where it was like, I'm eating a salad and I'm freaking out. I'm so happy. My mouth's wide open.
This
I'm
is
smiling
the best
and laughing.
burger ever.
Yeah. Or like, oh boy, these sheer pantyhose are just making me crazy happy. Or better yet, the tampon commercials where people were just ecstatic about their tampons.
I don't remember those.
It has wings. It can fly. That thing. That's a maxi pad. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't know
all
all
these. For our female listeners, we apologize for that snafu with the
what's inside a girl.
Hygiene products.
I don't know. But there was this sort of exaggerated idea of happiness, and that's what they're selling you. But I think happiness is it's like trying to hold water in your hands. And you can hold it there for a while, but sooner or later it slips through your fingers. but that moment was great.
Yeah.
You know, I remember we were talking about something earlier, and I said happiness is kind of like catching a snowflake on your tongue.
Yeah.
It's that moment of, here it comes. It's the ecstasy of, there it is. It's on my tongue, and it feels great, and then it's gone.
Yep.
And you remember it briefly, and then you're off to catch the next snowflake.
Well, let's take that. Like, are we talking about, I guess if we're going to talk about what makes you actually happy, what happiness is, are there goalposts of happiness? And me being me, I'm going to tie this into philosophy. Mm-hmm. So we talk about goalposts of happiness, maybe resetting them, kind of resetting the hedonic treadmill. Mm-hmm. And that will take us into utilitarianism and our friend Jeremy Bentham and the hedonic calculus.
Bend it like Bentham. Remember that classic philosophical work?
Well, I just want to throw this out because it's very interesting to me because
that's just the idea of like, you know, the grass is always greener on the other side.
No.
Over across the hill. No. It's just over the next hill. It's the carrot on the stick. That's the hedonic treadmill.
Yeah, sure, I mean, that is. But when you talk about the hedonic calculus of Bentham, it's calculating pleasure versus pain of an action. What makes the most sense for the most happiness for the most people. And there are actually 7 factors that you take into account. The duration, the intensity, the certainty, the purity, the extent, the propinquity, I think was the word. Basically,
there you go,
how soon it happens,
okay,
and the fecundity. You know, can it keep recurring?
Okay.
So you can actually factor all this into your decision making to become happy.
If you want to be that pedantic about it, you could do that.
But here's the thing:
happiness is a flash.
But how do you get that?
It's a nature. It's a force of nature.
How do you pursue that flash?
You don't always pursue it. Sometimes it pursues you.
Or sometimes it just happens.
It's like electricity. It's always there. It just took humans to figure out how to harness it and make it useful.
But let me give you this, and this will tie into what Bentham said with the hedonic calculus. You have to put yourself in the position to attain those happy moments, though, too. What perfect example for me just happened yesterday. I got a new tattoo. Mm-hmm. I had the idea for it, but it was very vague in my head. My first tattoo, I had it lined out, what I wanted, everything. There are layers of meaning behind everything on it. This one had an idea, and that was basically it. Mm-hmm. And so even driving down to the studio to get the tattoo, in my head, I'm starting to freak out. Like, I don't have this nearly as concrete as I did the first one. This could go terribly. And the artist that I work with, as soon as she turned her screen around and showed me the tattoo, it was perfect. And Tracy told me afterwards, she said, the look on your face was just of sheer happiness when you saw it. And it was. Mm-hmm. Because all those doubts, like, is this going to be right? Am I doing the right thing? Because a tattoo is pretty much permanent. Mm-hmm. Gone in just that split second, that first sight.
Was that 2 people working toward happiness, or was that serendipity that it all worked out the way you wanted it to be?
I don't think it was serendipitous. I think it was in working with the artist the first time. And I'll go ahead and say it was Erin Fox at Body of Art Tattoo in Dayton, Kentucky.
Appropriate last name.
Yeah. She is amazing.
Yeah.
Working with her the first time gained that trust. Mm-hmm. And I'd given her basically a brief description, a couple ideas. But it wasn't nearly as defined as the first one. And that's where my doubts crept in. But having worked with her before, there was that trust. And she knew me at that point. I knew her, and literally the art is just, I couldn't be any happier.
So how does this go back to happiness?
Well, it was just that moment. Like you said, the happiness is that moment, split second. Yeah. And that's what it was, because all the doubts and the fears and is this the right thing, in seeing the art that she came up with. Yeah.
And that's the dopamine drop.
Yeah. absolutely.
You got to drop a dopamine, boom, right to the feels.
Yeah,
That's your
and
happiness moment.
And then the serotonin throughout the tattoo process and even into today. Because I couldn't be happier with the way
contentment?
it looks.
Yeah, there you go. That's your satori.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people are actually striving for when they say, I want to be happy, or I just want to be happy. I just want a happy relationship. I want to be happy in my career. I want to, mom and dad said, no matter what happens, we just want you to grow up to be happy. Well, that's what it means, is they actually mean content with your lot,
Yeah. And do you think we misidentify certain things and get muddled up in what happiness or contentment actually are? Like,
sure,
misidentifying calm as being bored. So you end up chasing chaos just because it's excitement, and you equate that with being happy.
Well, I think that's where you get into the one man's trash is another man's treasure situation, where happiness can be defined differently for different people.
Sure.
Some people are only happy when they're fighting.
Yeah.
And they're, pushing against something. Some people are only happy when
there's chaos.
Yeah, when they're being mean to somebody else, it makes them feel good. It's dopamine.
Yeah.
And you can get dopamine from all sorts of things besides happiness. But happiness is dopamine. It absolutely is. But you can get dopamine from fighting. You can get dopamine from sex. You can get dopamine from someone liking something that you put online. That thumbs up that you get.
I got 5 likes.
Yeah. And that's a little bit of an acknowledgement.
Yeah. I guess I'm weirded out by bringing it down to chemicals.
Well, I'm just doing that.
I'm all for the science.
Yeah, I'm just doing that to honor you and your philosophical side and all that. If you want to stick with me and my woo-woo bunny side, I would tell you all about the wonder of birds and the wonder of life.
I am full on with that. When it comes to like work and things like that, sure, facts, logic, absolutely. But we can't ignore the metaphysical aspect. Let's do that. There's the question then.
What's opposite?
We understand the chemical reaction of happiness, serotonin, dopamine. Is there a metaphysical aspect too that drives that?
I believe so. There's a need in every human for contentment. Mm-hmm. And there's a need to want to feel useful.
Sure.
And there's a need to want to be wanted or desired. That can be love, or that can be companionship, to be part of a team, to be part of a unit, to be part of a job, to be some sort of identity. That's why people seek out all these crazy identities and that nowadays, because it gives them teams to feel like they're a part of something. And I think that's a universal metaphysical thing with humans and some animals.
Sure.
Is that they want to be a part of something. They want to be part of the pack. They want to be useful, and they want to have something to strive for in their life other than just eating, sleeping, screwing, and going to bed,
Yeah. Let me ask this specifically from a Gen X perspective, because we kind of grew up on this, follow your bliss idea.
Did we?
I feel like it. Yeah.
Okay.
With inspirational posters in the classrooms, and
you're talking about that hang in there,
hang in there, kitten. It's almost Friday. That kind of shit.
Oh, geez.
And sitcoms with their happy endings and things. The promise of a resolution at the end of every episode.
But that was happening in the 40s and 50s and the sitcoms and stuff too. There was always a happy resolution. Don't you think
it was more not? Don't you think it was more pronounced?
No,
in the 80s, I do.
No, it continued, but look at the Andy Griffith Show. Look at.
But there weren't
Father
always
Knows
happy
Best.
endings.
Oh, there were.
No,
absolutely.
Not always.
Oh, absolutely.
The episode where
Opie
Opie killed the bird with his slingshot.
Yeah,
that was pure drama. There was no happy ending there.
There was absolutely a happy ending.
No, there wasn't.
Because he raised the little babies that were left behind, and he let them go, and he learned his lesson. Remember?
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, that was how it ended.
You're saying I got hung up on the depressing part?
Yeah, exactly. And then, he found out that, oh no, she left behind little babies. Now I feel even worse. And the dad was like, boy, you're a real piece of crap, Opie. You shouldn't have done that. That's what I
remember. Yeah, exactly. To me, the credits rolled, right?
Yeah. And then, Opie decided, well, I'm going to take these little birds in and I'm going to keep them in the house and, raise them because I screwed up.
Because that works, kids.
And then he was sad that he had to let him go, but he felt good. The dad gave him the resolution of like, see, you did the right thing. And this will teach you in the future to think before you act like that. And he's like, okay, I will. Thanks, Dad. And it was lovely. And then Barney did something stupid, I'm sure, somewhere along the way.
Carry the bullet in your pocket. Don't keep it in your gun.
Nip it in the bud, etc., etc.
Do we, in our domestication and our adult life, though, get fucked up on that kind of stuff, though? Because those happy resolutions and things, they don't happen all the time in everyday life.
Of course they don't.
And if you go searching for them, you're going down a dark path.
I don't know about that. I mean, didn't you talk about, like, you have to position yourself in a way that you can receive happiness so that you can find happiness?
Yeah.
That's pursuing it.
Yeah. I'm just throwing ideas out there. Basically, I'm trying to figure out if I'm actually happy.
Oh, okay.
Because I think I am.
Yeah.
Even though, and here's the weird thing for me, the weird dichotomy is this. I continue, and we've talked about this ad nauseum in different episodes of the show. I've been in therapy before. I still use the tools I took from there. And I think because of my ability to use those tools.
Steal a hammer from your therapy.
I've got a little rock hammer, damn near worn down to the nub. Yeah. Call back to last episode. Sorry, folks. In using those tools, I am able to stave off depression. Okay. I don't know that I get to happiness using those same tools. Yeah. And so that whole happiness contentment conundrum is kind of a driving force.
But do you get to contentment?
I think so.
No, everybody's definition of contentment is different too. I mean, some people, they can't live without their Evian and their, super fast car. Other people are just content to have a roof over their head and a belly full of food and somebody to love them. So
basically, there's got to be an objective idea, though. There's got to be a seed somewhere of general happiness or contentment.
No.
And I don't know where to go for that. Maybe happiness isn't an emotion, but it's like the absence of resistance. Like everything fighting against you has let up. The rubber band isn't.
Well, that's catharsis to an extent. I mean, think about, I always look back to when I was getting my master's degree. Mm-hmm. To finish the entire course, we had to do a comprehensive exam, which was like a 6-hour exam where they just gave you booklets and you had to fill it out on, like, they gave you one question.
Yeah.
And you had to write and fill out the whole booklet. Just however long it took you. You had 6 hours to do it in. Go.
Yeah.
Completely nerve-wracking because you didn't know what the question was going to be. It was kind of like giving a dissertation, only but in written form.
Yeah.
And you were graded on that, and that's whether you passed or you failed. So it was a big deal.
Yeah.
And I remember all the stress and the misery and the moaning and groaning I had up to that point. And then you do it, and then you have this moment of no resistance. Like you said, there's no resistance, there's no pain, there's no nothing. You feel catharsis.
Yeah.
And you feel like you want to take a nap. You feel like having a party at the same time. You want to jump around. It feels like you just had the best sex of your life. Yeah. Because all that worry and pain and stuff is over for a moment.
Sure.
And it's momentary. Mm-hmm. So I consider that catharsis more than happiness, like a resistance, lack of resistance.
Yeah, I can see that. I can liken that to like testing for safety certification.
Sure.
I've got 3, and anybody that's taken any of those tests for any kind of certification, whether it's like an electrician's license, a safety certification, anything like that, you know that the moment that you're done with the exam, you've gone back, looked over all the questions that you flagged, to go back to and just check out again. The moment you hit that button to actually end the exam and you can't go back is the most nerve-wracking thing in the world, because everything comes down to that moment.
Yeah.
And you're done. And the worst part is you do that, and then you have to go out from the testing center, get the proctor to take you out, and then they just hand you a sheet of paper that tells you whether you passed or failed. And you get that paper, and your hand is shaking. Like, oh, shit. Okay. And it, catharsis, pure.
I liken it to, it's probably like when people jump out of a plane for the first time. There's an incredible amount of fear and trepidation, and then it's scary and exhilarating when you're doing it and you land. Catharsis.
Yeah.
You're okay. You didn't die. You maybe even had some fun, but it's over with now.
And you're happy and content at the same time.
Man, maybe we should jump out of a plane in the next episode.
That would be great.
There you go.
If we
podcast
could,
live,
record on the way down,
40,000 feet.
Jesus. Tell me about a time. We're going to turn this into an interview question.
Where do I want to be in 10 years?
No, tell me about a time that you realized afterward that you were happy, that in experiencing it, you didn't realize it. It was only afterward. Because I think that kind of thing will be very telling.
I think something that's kind of universal. I'll just do something I believe is universal for most people. It's when you finally break up with someone that you maybe it wasn't a bad relationship, but it was one of those situations where you knew it was just kind of not going anywhere. Yeah, it just wasn't working out, and you were so worried and upset the whole time about hurting that person or getting hurt yourself or whatever.
Yeah,
and then that blow comes and you feel kind of crappy when it happens, but then you go back home or you go back to your empty apartment or you get in your car and you put on a tape, and all of a sudden this happiness fills you. This like, free at last, finally free. That kind of weird feeling of like, all right, I'm free falling. This is great.
Yeah.
So I think that would be what I would say is I wasn't expecting to feel happy.
Yeah.
But for some reason I felt super content afterwards. Like, wow, that was the right thing, I guess.
Yeah. I think for me, the first thing I thought of was being on stage.
Yeah, that'll do it too.
Because you're happy there, but there's also so much pressure, and it's also contentment. There's so much that goes into it, but you have to be focused on the and this is going to be the wrong way to put it, but on the task at hand.
Sure.
And you don't really realize how happy you were until you come off stage. And you're done, and you look back and you're like, we just spent an hour on stage playing songs that we wrote, and I don't remember much of it at all, but that was the greatest fucking thing that's ever happened to me.
Can I talk about how happy I'll say I am with footlights? Whoever came up with the idea of footlights, I kiss you. Because, man, I'll tell you, I've been on stage numerous times, and the footlights are up in your eyes, and you can't see what's going on out there. You can maybe only see like the first row of people, maybe a second row of people. And you're like, okay, this makes me feel a lot better. And then the house lights come up, and you see there's 100 people there, and you're like, whoa, I would have been freaked out.
Yeah.
If I'd seen all those 100 people, I'd have been crapping bricks.
It was the weirdest thing. Our gig in October, it was at an outdoor venue. And the sun had just gone down as we started playing, and everybody was like in their lawn chairs and stuff just outside the aura of the stage lights. So like you could see people, but not really. We could hear them very well. So like, you know, the shouts and stuff when we'd finish a song and that kind of thing, but we couldn't see. And as you're like on the mic on stage, like talking, doing the between song banter, it's like I was talking to a black sheet.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't see anything.
It makes life easier, doesn't it?
A little bit.
Yeah.
There was a part of me that's like, I know people are yelling, and I just responded to what somebody said, but I have no idea who said that.
Yeah, that's nice. So yeah, that's another moment, I guess, like you said, that where you don't realize how happy you are until it's over with and the lights come up and you're like,
yeah,
we really did a good job, didn't we?
Yeah.
And
I think that's one of the things that goes toward, how to tell when you're actually happy. You need to take the time to recognize the happiness too.
Oh, absolutely.
Catalog it, remember it. Don't let happiness pass by.
Yeah, Bunny's going to be a real pill here and talk about gratitude journals again and say, dude, start a gratitude journal, even if it's just online, something that you can, even if you erase it the same night as you did it, you write it down. It makes it concrete in your mind. It reminds you what you have to be happy about and what you have to be content about. Now, my wife, we recently had this discussion where we're trying to plan for our future. So we're going to have a big future planning week coming up soon. Where we talk about retirement. Week. Yeah, we talk about retirement. We talk about, funeral plans, all that nasty stuff that older folks like us have to deal with. And
Gen X, we're looking at you.
Yeah. She wants to have an opposite day where I talk about the pros of something and she talks about the cons of something.
Yes.
This is something that...
Go Gene. That's awesome.
Yeah, because normally I'm the pessimist of the group. See, I'm very happy with my life. I'm content. I have moments of happiness. I catalog them. I gratitude journal. I do other projects where I celebrate the wonder and happiness of life. But I focus on the negative a lot. And that helps me to realize the positive. Mm. But to a lot of people, it sounds like I'm just stuck on the negative. It sounds like that's all I look at is the negative. Mm-hmm. So she's always telling me time and time again, tell me what you really want. Don't tell me what you don't want.
Yeah.
And she keeps trying to reframe it like that. I have a very difficult time doing that. So I'm looking forward to opposite day because my idea, life for me is like a battlefield. And I revel in it. I think it's a great thing.
I know you do.
I love it. But I look at what I need to eliminate instead of where I need to get to. I focus on the enemy in front of me as opposed to the end goal of the fight.
Just framing it as enemies is very negative.
It could be to some people. To me, it's invigorating because I'm slaying dragons. I'm battling and I'm winning. When I have goals, that's how I deal with it. I'm climbing a mountain. I'm fighting the monsters.
Do you narrate life as like a DM in your head?
No, I narrate life like I narrate my other podcast, Love Letters to Forgotten Things. It's very flowery, and that's why some people like me and some people don't like me, I guess, because when I let that guard down, that's the way my brain works. It's very, what do you want to call it? Lyrical.
Yeah.
But maybe it's more like a battle hymn instead of, for some of these things.
More like Coleridge than Wordsworth.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
So it's, for me, I get invigorated by the
I just want to throw out that if our friend Corey Simmons is listening to this, I hope that he laughed out loud at that reference. Sorry, please go ahead.
No, it's for me, I get joy in defeating the next head of the Hydra.
Okay.
And that's how I move on to the next goal. It's very easy for me to complete goals that way, as opposed to just, I'm going to be really happy when I complete that goal. It doesn't feel real to me. The struggle feels real to me. The winning is, I get crap about this a lot too from people where it's like, you don't take the time to enjoy the win. Because I'll win, I'll get my goal, whatever it is, I'll lose my weight, I'll make my money, I'll get new clients, I'll graduate from whatever, and then I'm immediately within 24 hours thinking about the next fight because I can't wait to get back on the field because there's always something. It's the hedonic treadmill, boop boop boop. It's that. It's like I can't wait to get over that next hill because that, we're going to conquer that hill and it's going to be great. We're going to celebrate for a night and we're going to get right back in the field again.
And the fecundity question is answered because there's always something more. It's right there.
I'm telling you, I am a very fecund boy.
Streaming off that idea, though, think back to like childhood and to high school, to college, to now. Happiness, contentment, the way that you view life. Has it changed and evolved, or do you feel like it's all kind of stemming from the same like intrinsic, inherent point of view?
I feel like it's always been the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, it really has. And it's one of those things that I don't think you realize it as you're growing up. When you get into high school and you start worrying about, relationships and other weird stuff, money, making and getting jobs, making the grades. You got to worry about getting into college, and college is just an extension of high school in that way. And then you get into the work world and you worry about this, that, and the other. Am I going to get married? Am I going to own a house? You get sidetracked from that. But I think as you get older, and I'll speak for myself, the last few years, I've kind of gone back to the well of who I really am. And I realize I've always been that way. It's like weeds growing over top of the well. So you can't find it sometimes and you start looking in other directions, but the well's always been there. Yeah. And the older you get, the more you clear the weeds out and the more you start to find yourself again. So
see, I'm the opposite. I feel like happiness, contentment, it's not even just evolved for me. But I think it's absolutely radically changed a few times.
Tell me about it.
From the time that I started writing and started playing music, there were, my fault here, expectations that I had for myself. And tying happiness to those was wrong. And so there was an evolution or a complete rethink of what life is and what makes me happy somewhere around high school, college, where it became more about the creation and the art as opposed to the, go ahead.
That's the battlefield.
That's not a battlefield.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It's the process. It's the fight. And then when you get to the end and you beat that enemy, then you feel content for a minute, and then you're right back to creating again. Your world is creation. My world is fighting.
Yeah, so, I guess I can see that because, like, Tracy, my wife, got a new tattoo this week as well, and I went with her. And in the time that she was getting hers, I wrote 3 new sets of lyrics, just because I had the time, and we were conversing as things were happening, and I just wrote them. And you would think that would be difficult because they're from 3 different points of view. You would think it would take a lot out of me emotionally, that kind of stuff, but it didn't. I finished the one, took a little break, looked at my phone for a few minutes, had an idea, started the next one, and that's how it goes. But I don't view those as battles. They're
it's flow for you.
Yeah, it's how the work happens. I mean, they're not finished. They need editing and things like that, just like any poem does. But getting more into that mindset and tying happiness to the work as opposed to an end result was a shift for me. Yeah. And the same thing with my job, my career. Learning to let go, I think, is a big key to happiness and contentment. Because the more you try to throttle life, the more you try to wrap your hands around it, the more it's going to turn to sand and just slip between your fingers.
That's the thing that I think the reason that a lot of quote unquote intellectuals or whatever get real shitty acting about simpler folk as they view them. I think the reason is they're jealous because there's a contentment there because once again, people are water and people will fill whatever vessel they're put into. They'll take the shape of it, and they'll find their own level. That's contentment, is finding your level and resting.
I think
Rest
in a lot
is
of ways
contentment.
that's true.
And a lot of people who you may not think are as smart as you out there are a hell of a lot smarter on that emotional level, where they are, like, my father was a perfect example. I used to get so pissed at my dad because I couldn't understand why he wasn't railing against this and railing against that, and isn't this unfair, and blah, blah, blah. And he would sit like a great big fat Buddha on his on his easy chair and just grin and just live life.
Yeah.
He was content. He was happy. And it's because he was poured into a marriage that he took the shape of, and he found his own level.
He poured himself in.
He was. Yeah. And he was content. And that's where it's at. That's the letting go that you're talking about, as opposed to the constant striving and working and fighting. And a lot of creatives, a lot of business people, excuse me, my voice, a lot of people like that have a lot of ambition.
Yeah.
Or a lot of avarice. They kind of like they're always striving for something more.
Yeah.
They have a hard time finding contentment because it's always over the next hill.
Right.
And I'm just as guilty of that as anybody. I mean, I've been wired like that. Now, I am content in a lot of ways, but I always know I could be creating something new.
Yeah.
I can get better. I can lose more weight. I can get healthier. I can make more muscle. I can look better. I can do all sorts of cool things. So I'm never quite content, I guess.
So we do come back to that happiness, contentment. It is different for everybody. I think very similar to your story about your dad. With my dad, one of the things that I used to wonder as a kid, like, with the stuff my dad did, he was a maintenance mechanic, technician. That's what he did. He fixed stuff. And I wondered sometimes, like, why don't you move up? Why don't you move up to a supervisor job or a manager job, stuff like that? Because he had opportunities and he just didn't want to. And in my career, where I am right now, I so totally understand that. I didn't understand it as a kid because you have this idea like you got to strive, you got to keep moving up. And like the position I'm in right now, I don't really like managing. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things. I don't think it fits my personality.
Sure.
I don't think I'm good at it. I was good at hand me an assignment, cut me loose, let me get it done.
Yeah.
That's why being a compliance officer was perfect. Here's your assignment, go. Got it.
Well,
done.
Here's something I would urge you and all of our listeners out there. If you still have a parent or someone you love that you always kind of kicked against, you never understood them until you got to this age, tell them.
Yeah. And talk to him about this stuff.
I wish I could tell my father that I finally get it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll wrap it up with that.
All right.
How to tell when you're actually happy. I'm not sure we made any headway, but we talked about a lot of cool stuff.
I'm quite content.
I'm content with this episode.
There you go.
Until next time, this has been the Gen Existentialist Podcast. My name's Scott.
And I'm Bunny.
Have a good one.